shocking report because Kyle Dubas is already making moves. This guy is wheeling and dealing like it's the trade deadline, and it's still Wednesday. But Dubas just made 2 huge trades that could have serious implications for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He traded away a defenseman, traded for a defenseman, traded away a forward, and traded for a forward, while also trading away a draft pick and trading for a draft pick. Yes, it does sound crazy because it is. And before we get into it, you guys better subscribe to the channel Penguins Digest. This is the first of many trade videos because Kyle Dubas is not done yet. He is probably going to trade our whole roster before it's all said and done. So subscribe to the channel and we will have the latest Pittsburgh Penguins updates right here on Penguins Digest, whether it's news, whether it's analysis, whether it's me ranting about why Kyle Dubas decided to trade away Michael Bunting, because that's what is in store for this video. Michael Bunting was traded to the Nashville Predators, of all teams, a team that is rock bottom in the Western Conference, one of the worst teams in the entire National Hockey League. All I got to say is, Michael Bunting, I feel bad for you, buddy. You're at home trying to recover from an appendectomy, and Kyle Dubas calls you up on the phone and says, hey, buddy, you just played your last game in a Penguin sweater. Oh, and by the way, you're going to one of the worst teams in the league. Kyle Dubas must hate Michael Bunting. He had one bad stretch, ladies and gentlemen. One bad stretch. He was the reason that we were as good as we were at the end of last season and almost made the playoffs. And now Kyle Dubas says, you know what? I've had enough of you, Michael Bunting. You had a couple bad games. Why don't you go to the Predators and go sulk away? One of the places that superstar players or even good, decent players go for their careers to die. Look at what happened to Steven Stamkos. Look at what happened to Jonathan Marchessault. Why did Kyle Dubas do this to poor Michael Bunting? He didn't deserve this. Michael Bunting didn't deserve this. Kyle Dubas must really hate him for doing this. He was a Kyle Dubas player. Kyle Dubas handpicked him to Toronto. He handpicked him to Toronto, handpicked him in Pittsburgh as well, wanted him back in the Jake Guentzel trade from Carolina. We get him, and he's already gone. He's already gone a year later. Michael Bunting traded from Pittsburgh to Nashville. This was Elliotte Friedman's initial report. Believe Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak are part of the return. What we didn't know when I saw this, calling a softball game, doing play-by-play, looking at my phone and seeing, oh, Michael Bunting got traded, that's all we got in return. Yeah, that's all we got. Can I believe it? No. Can you believe it? Probably not. None of us know what is going on. And will I have any information other than Kyle Dubas? Yeah, got nothing. Sorry. We're going to have to wait to see what Kyle Dubas has to say about this one, because I'm anxious to see why he made this trade. Michael Bunting, out of all the players that I would trade, he would be one of the last guys I would think to trade. Okay? He's playing really well for Pittsburgh this year. And I'm going to show you his stats before I even show you any more of these reports and these articles and these breakdowns, because Michael Bunting has been an absolute animal for the Penguins this year. 29 points in 58 games, and that includes a pretty bad stretch to start the season and a pretty bad stretch recently as well. Michael Bunting leads our team in power play goals. He plays on a line with Gino. He had one of the greatest assists I think I've ever seen, and a saucer pass to Philip Tomasino, a guy that's part of our future, not that long ago. Michael Bunting's an impact player. He's one of those feisty guys. When he's on his game, he is a pest. Mike Sullivan just said all this good stuff about him. I just made a video, what was it, 3 videos ago, talking about how important this guy is to our team and how big of a loss he's going to be now that he had an appendectomy and is going to be out for a while. Well, guess what, Michael? You played your last game as a Pittsburgh Penguin. Kyle Dubas. It's the Kyle Dubas special. Not only did we trade Michael Bunting, we traded a 4th-round draft pick. Yeah, we got rid of a draft pick to get Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak. I love Tommy Novak. Hey, don't get me started on Tommy Novak. I'm a big fan of Tommy Novak. Great two-way center. Great bottom 6 forward. I'm really looking forward to him. He's younger than Michael Bunting. Maybe he's got a little bit more potential than Michael Bunting. Big fan of Tommy Novak. Trust me. I would have loved to trade for Novak. When we got Tomasino, Novak was the second guy that I said, you know what? That's a Predators guy I would like to have on my team. I would like him to come to Pittsburgh. We got him. But the cost is Michael Bunting and a 4th-round pick. And we also got Luke Schenn. Great. I'm anxious to see if he flips Luke Schenn. Now, Luke Schenn has another year of team control. And I'm not sure if that means we're keeping Luke Schenn for another year because we desperately need defense. But Tommy Novak's the only guy in this trade that I can say, okay, I understand it. Luke Schenn, not as much because he's 35 years old. He's 35 years old, and we're trying to get younger, but then we trade for a 35-year-old defenseman. Real interesting. 35 years old, and playing in his 17th NHL season, is under contract for 1 more year. Guys, I can't. I'm at a loss for words for this trade right now. Michael Bunting should not have been traded. I stand by that. I really don't think Michael Bunting should have been traded. But at the same time, I like to look at the bright side here. Bunting was struggling. Maybe Dubas didn't see him turning a corner. Maybe he said, you know what? Let's trade him while we can. And maybe Luke Schenn is an asset that we can flip a little bit easier than Michael Bunting. Maybe the Predators were one of the only teams interested in Michael Bunting, which I find that hard to believe. But I'm just trying to come with a little bit of justification here because it's very confusing to me. I don't know how to feel. I don't know if I'm supposed to like this. I don't know if I'm supposed to hate this. Originally, I was going to say Penguins fleece the Predators. But I knew I would have been lying through my teeth because they didn't fleece the Predators. Tommy Novak might very well end up being the best player out of this trade. Hey, I'm not putting that past anybody. I really like Tommy Novak. But Michael Bunting is a win-now player, and the Nashville Predators are a team, again, sulking on rock bottom right now. They went out there in free agency and signed everybody, spending all this money with Nashville's special tax breaks and all this stuff, same as Florida. They can acquire all these free agents. They can make this team really good. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, winning Stanley Cups, having all this, extra money that they can give players because they don't have to be taxed as much. They can make more to sign there. Nashville's got the same thing, except they're not winning Stanley Cups. They're not doing it right in Nashville. I think this is another move where I question Nashville and what they're trying to do. Okay, Steven Stamkos, I was like, okay, past his prime. Jonathan Marchessault. They've made a lot of questionable moves. This is one of them. I really don't get it for Nashville. I don't know why they think they're this close to competing because they're really not. They're really not. Pittsburgh might be closer to competing than Nashville. And they just gave Nashville Michael Bunting for Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak. Guys, that's the trade. I'm still shocked. I'm speechless. Again, do we flip Schenn? Maybe. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe that's the play. When we hear from Kyle Dubas, we will have another video about this. But for now, I'm just essentially reacting to it. It's a little bit after the fact because, again, I was not here. I was calling a game. I was speechless for 15 minutes. Calling a game, I didn't say anything for 15 minutes because I didn't know what to think. I'm thinking, Michael Bunting traded to the Predators. I'm still trying to figure it out to this minute, guys. Hours later, I'm still processing this trade. I really liked Michael Bunting. For a while, I was so critical of that dude. But when he started to show me what he was made of, I was like, you know what? I kind of like him. I kind of want to keep him around. Tommy Novak, I've always been sold on. So, I might like Novak more than I like Bunting. So why am I sitting here complaining to you guys? I don't know. Maybe I just want to complain. Are you going to be my friends that I can vent to about this kind of stuff? When the Penguins make a bad trade, when Kyle Dubas makes me upset? I hope so. I hope we have that kind of relationship. If you guys want to comment about this, feel free. I don't care if you send me a paragraph. I'll probably appreciate it. I'll give you a like and I'll give you a comment right back because I want to know what everybody has to think about this. I really do, okay? Kyle Dubas has a plan, and I thought that plan was to get younger. Tommy Novak ain't that much younger than Michael Bunting, okay? So Luke Schenn, a 35-year-old defenseman, and trading away a draft pick was what confused me about this trade. Michael Bunting for Tommy Novak straight up would have made no sense either. Now, if we traded Bunting for Novak and a draft pick, I would be here singing Kyle Dubas' praises to you guys. But he didn't do that. He made a completely different trade. Bunting and a 2026 fourth-round draft pick for Luke Schenn and Tommy Novak. Guys, that's what we're in for. That's what just happened. Why did both sides make the trade? This is according to Josh Yohe, who posted on The Athletic. He's one of the main Penguins guys on The Athletic. I follow his stuff. I read his stuff. This is his reaction. I understand why the Penguins made this trade with the Predators. Simply put, Novak is younger than Bunting, makes less money, and is probably a more effective player with a higher upside. The Penguins want good young players in any fashion and got one. Makes sense. And when he talks about the Predators, makes no sense. Same thing I said, guys. I hadn't even read that article. I screenshotted it and put it in there just to see what somebody else had an opinion about this trade. Because my opinion of that trade, very similar to Josh. I really do believe for the Predators, it makes no sense. So if you really want to look at it from that perspective, the Penguins won the trade. And that's fine. Let's just say we did win the trade. What's Kyle Dubas' plan next? Because I just made a video for you guys earlier today talking about all these players that could be traded, all the moves that could be made, all the options Kyle Dubas had. Michael Bunting was not on that board. Michael Bunting was not somebody that I named because I thought he was part of the future. I thought he was part of the solution, not part of the problem, and now he's gone. So, guys, I'm very confused. Now, this trade that I'm going to show you, this is a different trade that Kyle Dubas just made as well. And then we'll finish the video following the announcement of this trade, because this one might have went a little bit under the radar. Vincent Desharnais to San Jose. Get it? Desharnais to San Jose. It might rhyme a little bit, but it also makes no sense because the San Jose Sharks are one of the worst teams I've ever seen. They're good lately. They've won a couple games. They beat the Maple Leafs in a shootout, and that was a fun one to watch. Macklin Celebrini, Will Smith, they got some studs. I mean, I actually am a fan of what they're building in San Jose. How does Vincent Desharnais do anything for them? Can anybody explain that to me? What does Vincent Desharnais have to offer the San Jose Sharks, who are a young team that's really only trying to get younger? They trade a 5th-round pick, a mid-round pick. All right, sure. For Vincent Desharnais. We'll take the pick. I mean, we gave up a 4th-round pick to get Luke Schenn, who's arguably better than Desharnais, right? And we get a 5th-round pick from the Sharks. So we basically swap a 5th for a 4th, and we swap Desharnais for Schenn. So the more I talk, guys, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Kyle Dubas has a plan. I was coming into this video acting like I was going to bash Kyle Dubas for something. Guys, I've bashed him before. I've defended him before. I never know what I'm going to do, to be completely honest with you. I'm just a fan like all of you. I love this team so much, and I want them to do well, and this is a rough period of time for us. But I'm here with you guys. I'm living it with you guys. And you look at this trade, there's a lot to like. Because Vincent Desharnais was kind of just taking up space on our back end. He didn't come in and make the impact that we thought he was going to make. This hulking defensive defenseman that's supposed to help stop pucks from getting in the back of the net. Well, he didn't do that. And a lot of the time, he's a healthy scratch. And I think P.O. Joseph could probably be traded for something similar to this if a team actually thinks maybe he's worth anything at all. But if we start getting rid of some of these lackluster defensemen, we can start calling up some of these young guns that we've been stashing. Maybe Brunick. I don't know. Ryan Shea's been great. Maybe we trade Ryan Shea while he's playing well, because I don't honestly think that much of Ryan Shea. He's been coming along really well. But again, a lot of shakeups are going to happen in the next couple days, guys. That's why I'm doing a live stream on Friday to tell you guys all about it. We're going to keep you in the loop. We're going to stay on this stuff. But Vincent Desharnais, I mean, I'm going to show you his stats, but it's really just something for you guys to laugh about. I guess it's my comedy skit part of this video, because Vincent Desharnais' stats are absolutely atrocious. And I know he's a defensive defenseman, but hey, maybe he's a little bit better than Ryan Graves. I don't know, but that's the one difference between him and Ryan Graves. Teams might actually give a 5th-round pick for Vincent Desharnais, whereas Ryan Graves, heck, I don't even know if somebody would take that guy for free. So, hey, it's weird. It's odd. It's definitely a trade that I'm still trying to process. But, hey, we got Vincent Desharnais off our team, and we got a draft pick for it that we basically used to get Luke Schenn, who's a better defenseman, and Tommy Novak, a guy I really like. But the part that's hard for me to swallow, a very hard pill for me to swallow, was the Bunting deal. This Vincent Desharnais deal, that's why I just threw it in at the end of the video, because it's not something I'm going to take the time to make a full video about. Oh, wow, we lost Vincent Desharnais. Big whoop. Big whoop. So, guys, a lot more to come. Trust me. This is just the beginning. Kyle Dubas, he might shake up this whole roster when it's all said and done. Hey, as long as he doesn't trade Sid, you won't hear me complaining. You will hear me trying to understand, trying to justify Kyle Dubas' moves, and trying to give you guys a little bit of an idea how the future is still very bright for this team, for this organization. And I'm happy that we got Tommy Novak. I really am. I think that's the highlight of my day. I was very sad that Bunting, got traded. I cried pretty much the whole way home in the car. You can believe me. Don't have to believe me. But hey, guys, subscribe to the channel. We got Tommy Novak and Luke Schenn. So subscribe to the channel. We will have more videos coming up and a live stream on Friday for the trade deadline primer here on Penguins Digest. If you're a Penguins fan, if you're a hockey fan, don't much matter. Subscribe to the channel. I'll keep you in the loop. We got this. Penguins Digest. Thank you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode here on the show.